You know, we talked about dreams last week.
I do.
It's the weirdest dream. I did have, funnily enough, the strangest, messed up dream last night.
Did you?
All I can remember.
Do tell.
Well, two things I can remember from it. One, that it was the second half of the dream was about some kind of monster alien trying to kill me and these random people who were in this ensemble group I was with, to the point where part of the dream was they had this decapitated corpse of an alien being raised up, all like drenched with blood and pouring out with blood, and this weird, and under the skin, this weird alien robot kind of bursts out.
Right.
And then that's the thing that's trying to kind of kill us and attack us. Then, weirdly in the dream, somebody who I'm with figures out that it can hide in a Coke can.
Sorry, can I just say, I like how you say, and within the dream, like I'd sit here and believe that this actually happened at all, David. But and within the dream, like you're not fooling anyone.
Yeah, so it's in this Coke can, and somehow you can transfer this alien thing to another Coke can, right?
Right.
I know, it doesn't make sense. And then we all pause there going, hang on a second, this alien hasn't realised it's in another Coke can. I'm just going to put it in this dustbin. We can all walk away, everyone. Like, that's it, we're done, it won't kill us. Then somebody says, oh, hang on a second, what if somebody else finds it? Then it'll get out again. We're all a bit like, no, let's let them deal with that. We'll just walk away. And that's when I wake up. And I kid you not, when I woke up, I was proper clammy.
Really?
Like when you have one of those proper intense dreams. Even Catherine was like, oh, what's wrong with you?
Does she often just randomly in the night just prod you going, is he clammy or not? Oh, yeah, he's clammy. Oh.
Well, Catherine, when I woke up, Catherine had just walked back in because Phoebe had woken up.
Right, okay.
And I said to her, I've had a really like proper intense dream. And I said, I feel really clammy. She was like, she kind of touched me on my forehead. She's like, oh yeah, geez, you are.
Have you ever had those dreams though, that like are really nice dreams, really good dreams, and stuff good's happening to you, or you can expect something good's going to happen to you, but the moment just before it's going to happen to you, you wake up or you get woken up.
Yeah.
All the time. Like my alarm seems to go off at the exact same moment when something really good is about to happen to me. Like I will step out onto that pitch at Anfield.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, I'm part of Little Mix or whatever. And just at that exact moment before the whole dream's building up to it, my alarm goes off. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Usually for
me. And then you put it on snooze, and you try and get back to that place, but you can't get back to that place.
Usually for me, it's some kid just slaps me in the face to wake me up. That's what usually happens. And once again, on that dream bombshell, welcome to this week's ADQ, everyone. It's the podcast where we try and debate the questions you never thought you needed answering. David Evans at the helm. And joining me, as always, and I'm going to get out of the way now, is the one to my zero. It's Mr. Mike May.
Yeah, boy! Whee!
How you doing? I know, I saw subtly for the... For the audio people, subtly Mike's got a Liverpool scarf in the background. I thought that I was a bit worried that you were going to go full regalia again, like last time, but I thought 4-0 and 1-0 and the concept of the game probably didn't warrant an all-out thing on that.
I'm just not that immature, David. Or maybe something might happen within the podcast. Who knows?
Oh, God.
Maybe you have to listen out for certain things I might be saying.
Oh dear! I thought you were going to get Jamie Carragher on at one point, zooming in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Klopp's just going to pop on and ask us a question.
He's just going to zoom in and go boom, and then zoom out. Yeah, so we've got more Daft questions this week as usual. All the fine research we've done for these questions also in place. I've got a couple of doozies this week, but firstly, we're going to correspondence. Mike, how can people get in touch as per usual? Through the official channels.
Yes, official channels. They can get in touch with us in a variety of ways. So we have Instagram, we have Twitter at a Daft Question. We have an email address, adaftquestion@gmail.com. We have a YouTube account. Search for a Daft Question and pop a little comment on a video.
Lovely. What have the people been sending us over the very short period of time that we've done in between shows this time?
So we've had a few comments on the Thomas the Tank Engine new intro.
Mm-hmm.
A nice revelation from @StewJ4Z.
Mm-hmm.
Starts off saying that he has watched every episode of Thomas from the beginning to the current series.
That doesn't surprise me, no, Stu.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Okay. It surprised me. But I mean, that's commitment. But he's now come around to this new animated style.
I think he's one of the
And you don't approve.
Well, again, doesn't surprise me, knowing Stu, that he likes it. But I think he must be one of the rare people. Come on.
At Cage Fighting Pod, our friends at Cage Fighting have said, if it's no Ringo, it's not Raito. I agree. Fully agree with them.
Yeah,
Thomas in general.
I like it.
And the second of the Tobiases has said, it looks like a scene from a mobile game. The intro. Yeah, it does.
It does, yeah. Good point.
So we also had, and at Goldanton, Simon Gold. He's asked us a question based on the Thomas the Tank Engine intro, and in general, I imagine. How is he even moving? There's no gears or pistons. It's an engineering nightmare. Maybe what we forgot to do is when we talked about the faces going onto the trains, we forgot about like maybe the faces and brains go into the train, and that's what controls it.
Okay, that's true. But then if it's some kind of weird purgatory world that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, if you're going into that world, would it not be weird for you that you're like, hang on a second, how do I move here? I've got no arms or legs. I've got wheels. Oh, how do I do this? That's what I would think.
That's all you know, though. That's all you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Thanks, Gold Atten.
Yep.
Now, the Cocoa Pops question. A couple of questions have come our way. One from @skyblue_boy has said, have you tried the white chocolate and white? The white chocolate and white chocolate. He's done that twice, I think. I'll read it as it should be read.
Okay.
Have you tried the white chocolate and strawberry Cocoa Pops? #whole new world.
No, and I don't think that's a combination that would work for me.
Well, he's saying in the name of the podcast, you need to give it a try. So I am willing, David, to take that step and try some of these white chocolate and strawberry Cocoa Pops.
I will commission you to try that brand of Cocoa Pops.
As well as trying the new Cocoa Pops, I've also tried the digestive method of the chocolate on the bottom. Again, in the name of the podcast. Yeah. That's the only reason I did it.
Good, yeah.
And it's not a massive difference. Like, there's a little bit more chocolate, but it's not like a chocolate heaven type thing. It's just a digestive, you just taste a little bit more chocolate. So that's my review.
It's not a taste sensation that you were hoping for.
It's not.
Okay.
And at Richard Hobbs 6 has said that he's tried some Aldi branded ones.
Which is the ones that I think I mentioned last week, yeah.
He's not too sure why you shared the information, but he thinks it's a little bit different from the original. But to be precise, he's going to get a box of the original and the Aldi ones to compare.
That's some good dedication there to feedback.
It is.
Yeah. And
we've got a question from him later on in the show, and I'm going to propose to you a new feature for the podcast as well.
Okay.
We'll see what you think and see if Richard Hobbs 6 is on board.
Do you find sometimes when you see things that say new improved recipe and you try it and you find that actually I can't taste the difference?
Can I ask, and this might be a question for another episode, can you have a new and improved product? Surely it's either new or improved.
Okay. It's a good question, I think, for another time. Yeah. We need some examples, I think, of where we've seen new and improved.
Right, well, give me a few weeks then before we ask that question. But I've always wondered, can you have a new product and improved? It's one or the other, surely.
I would think so. It's going to be.
But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that is it for. No, we got tagged our friend at Twitter, Dr. Wilding, or Dr. Wilding rather.
Good old Dr. Wilding.
He randomly tagged us in a tweet, and you remember this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whether this is a compliment or not. I'd like to hear what other people think of this. Basically, this tweeter said that they want to find a podcast not done by a big studio. She wants two losers in a cupboard trying very hard to make something that they don't know if there's an audience for. And he has commented, tagging us saying, saw this and thought of you. I don't know if I'm offended or not.
I did think that at first. I think it's a compliment all in all, but I did find it very funny.
Yeah, I mean, fair play.
Yeah, because I think ultimately a lot of podcasts, including ours, are based on the same content.
Yeah.
And I think to go further as well, I think there is, obviously, because I've done this for many, many years now in different formats, because there are so many podcasts out there and also so many media companies that do theirs, that gets to a point you're like, oh, come on, give the little guys a break with this, the people who started this out originally. If you tag I remember listening to a podcast, a wrestling podcast, funnily enough, called Wrestle Me, which I highly recommend, by the way, as a fellow wrestler. Wrestle Me.
Me, okay.
Yeah. And they went off topic in one point. And this guy, Pete Donaldson, who is part of the Football Ramble podcast, probably the biggest independent football podcast in the country, if not the world, made a good point saying that, if somebody starts a new podcast, if you just put a journalist's name or a celebrity name to it, it's already got credibility.
Yeah.
They might not have done an episode. It could be the worst episode in the world, but it's already got credibility. 100% agree with that. And it's a bit of a grinder that somebody can just start a new podcast.
We need one celebrity to come on here.
Yeah.
And we'll blow up.
Yeah.
Because I'm not being biased. Well, I probably am. But I think this is good. So we just need someone with a platform to elevate us a little bit. And we should get the listeners and the sponsors that we deserve, damn it.
Yes. I think we need that endorsement. That's what we're looking for. So that's why Pat Sharp is the first point of call.
Yes.
Good old Pat Sharp.
The Rock first. Imagine if we eventually get The Rock and he tweets us, man, the amount of people that we get listening to us.
Oh, I think let's start realistic first, though. Pat Sharp.
But secondly, to be fair, actually, I've been included in a tweet of his to my mate. So he's, we're kind of like bezies. So I might just tweet him and see if he fancies asking us a question.
Okay, that's good then.
He knows who I am.
Anyone want to sponsor the show, by the way, even if it's just, you want to be the ex-sponsor of this version, like the official non-ginger sponsor of the show. It's things like that. We'll take that. If it means we can get some free stuff. If it means we can get some free stuff, we're all eased for that. Okay, lovely.
I'll take a freebie.
Yeah, correspondence done for this week. Right, it's time for first question of the podcast. Michael, being told off. No one really likes it, do they? When you've done something wrong and you get a good finger wag from someone and you feel very crap. But my question to you...
Great build-up. Build-up.
My question to you, Michael, to kick things off is, what is the best or worst, depending on how you want to frame it, telling off you've ever
had? This telling off was by my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of this for a while. And this, to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, this is the worst telling off I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I was at an age as well where I appreciated where she was coming from. So where I was 16, and it was the Christmas party of where I used to work. And everyone was like, all the people were like 18 and 19, majority of people that worked the weekend shift. And they were all going out afterwards into good old Blackburn.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go out with them. Right. So I was like, to my mum, do you like, they're going to have the Christmas party. She doesn't mind that I had a drink, but it was just, I've never been out into town type thing for a night out clubbing. So I was like, Mum, do you mind if I go? Everyone's going. I don't want to be left alone. She went, but okay, you can go, but come back for 12 o'clock.
Oh.
And then as it came up, as the closer it came to the Christmas party, I was like, Mum, 12 o'clock, like, what's the point? Like, we'll be going out at 11. Like, as soon as I get there, I'll have to go home. She went, back, okay, 1 o'clock, but make sure you're back for 1 o'clock. And I want you to tell me when you're home. So come in the door, which I had to do till like for ages. Open the door, I'm back, Mum, close it.
Yeah.
So we went into Blackburn. The night was swinging. Swinging? The night was swinging.
I don't, with all the great respect to Blackburn, I don't imagine the words "the night is swinging" and Blackburn in the same thing.
So the night was swinging, and it came to about 1:45, I think. No, 1 o'clock. It was about 1 o'clock, and I hadn't left. I thought, I don't want to leave.
Oh.
So I turned my mobile off.
Oh, okay.
and carried on partying and trying to chat up girls and whatever. And then maybe 2:30, I think it might have been, turn my phone on again, text after text after text, voicemail after voicemail. Where are you? I'm worried sick. I told you to come back for 1:00. You best ring me now. You need to go. So I rang up and went, Mum, my phone died. I'm sorry, I didn't know what time it was.
Oh.
You need to come home now. I'm not happy with you. You need to come home now. So I'm trying to get people to come into a taxi with me because I was skint to share the taxi. I think I got one other person. We got in the taxi. I got home. I opened up. Mum back. Fine. Night. Okay. Door slam. Went to bed. Had to go to work the next morning. So I didn't see her. I woke up, had my shower, left. We were all talking about it. And then the entire day, I was shitting myself.
Yeah.
Because she was going to pick me up. She always did. And I was shitting it. I was like, I don't want to do it. So I was telling everybody, all the staff, everyone who went out, I don't want to get picked up. I don't want to get picked up. My heart was racing.
You talking to customers going, can you give me your phone? As I've served you so well today, do
you live in Accrington?
Yeah.
Can I?
Rather than filling out this "How did I do today" form, could you just give me a lift home?
So it came and she was right next to the entrance. So I came out, got in the passenger, and she started driving. And before we left the car park, I just turned and went, I'm sorry. And then she erupted. Don't you say you're sorry to me. How dare you put me through that? You had me worried sick. I told you 1:00. You went here for 1:00. Your phone was off. I didn't know what happened to you. Blah, blah, blah. You're grounded. You're not going out again. You give me your phone, etc., etc., etc. It was shit.
Yeah.
And thankfully we can laugh about it now. But it was not. I felt awful. And as I said, I think it's because I can look when you look back, because when you're younger, you don't really you get told off because you've done something wrong, but you don't understand why, I suppose. Whereas it didn't take me long at all to realise why she'd be pissed off and upset and annoyed at me, and that just made it worse. And I think because of the build up to it as well, it wasn't just Sunday morning and we got out of the way. I hadn't seen her for the entire day, so it was like 4 or 5 o'clock when we shut, and she picked me up, and it just built and built and built and built, and it was awful.
Or it is sometimes that waiting around when you know the inevitable is coming is worse.
I just, to this day, I remember being in the car where we were in the car park before we went up the hill, and I just turned to her and I practically shat myself.
Do you remember how long it was after that before it all probably calmed down, or was it immediately after your mom kind of got out the way because they'd watched the incident and then it was
no, it definitely wasn't I've said it now, we just carry on. It wasn't that. My mum was not. Well, I don't think she was really like that as a kid. As I'm older, as I got older, yes. But when I was 16, I don't think it was the case. And I think it was definitely a couple of days before there was no kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think as well, my phone would have been at least 2 weeks. I don't think I could go out because it was only like Christmas was two months pretty much before my birthday. Mm-hmm. So I don't think. I very much doubt the entire of January I weren't allowed out. I'd have thought towards my birthday, February, we'd be able to pick things up.
It was like a lockdown tier system. You were allowed to do certain things every single week. And then, like in the American films where they have the date circled on the calendar, free.
Yes.
You can cross off. The worst one I think I ever had, and it was probably in some ways the opposite, because it was more an overblown reaction and then the silent treatment.
Okay, then.
For me. So again, like you, it's only when it happens to you and years later do you understand from their point of view why they were so mad with you. So to put into context, my dad, his job now, he's an editor of a magazine, it's on like a model airplane magazine. But and all he wanted to do throughout his life was to be a writer of aviation writer, things like that. So technically, my dad's kind of got to his kind of dream outlet.
Beautiful.
For his career. But growing up, he was very much like a lot of people, had a normal full-time job in his spare time, did what he wanted to do to build up a career to get to what he wanted to. So as a kid, my dad would write a lot of books on airplanes and get them published and do a lot of articles for magazines to build up that stuff.
Yeah, pleasure.
So, and obviously we had the computer in the house. Back then, computers were expensive like they are now anyway, but it's the only computer in the house, right? But like a kid, I obviously have my games on there. And like all kids, about, I don't know, how old was I? 10, 11, 12, I've got Football Manager on there. So any spare time I've got, get on Football Manager, play it. So I remember the day, it was, I don't know, like a after school or something, playing Football Manager. And for some reason, the game crashes, right? Now, for some reason, in that moment, I decided, rather than just leaving it and waiting for my dad to come home because he was at the shops to go, oh, it's crashed, I'm not going to touch it, I'm just going to let my dad sort it out. I decided to try and reinstall the game that's already installed on the computer that's just crashed, right? Try and reinstall it. The computer goes pop. Not pop as in it blows up, as in it's done, it's gone, it's not working. I'm so panicked. I run down to the Sainsbury's, which is on the estate that Mum and Dad live, from my house. Bear in mind, for a kid, it's a long way, but I belt it down there. No, my dad's at the shop. Find him in the shop to say, Dad, crap, I think I've really messed up. My dad obviously at first thinks something major's happened, like someone's had an accident or something like that. So I explained, and she's like, okay, don't worry, we'll come home, we'll figure it out. Get home, and I'm still crapping myself. And then I think my dad realises that not only has the computer gone pop, and I realise this years later, all my dad's work, books, articles he's been working on, anything he's worked for years, has gone. So initially, I'm in my room, literally cowering in the corner because I'm like, crap, I think I've just ruined my dad's life. And he's like absolutely livid at first. Like, you've literally like got rid of all my work over the last week.
Yeah.
And then from that, because obviously my dad's devastated for the next, I don't think my dad actually spoke to me for like a week.
Really?
Because I understand from his point of view, you've got all your back catalogue, you've got all your things you're working on now, it's gone. And not only that, how do you fix the computer?
Yeah.
He's got to work on that computer. It's going to cost, you can't just buy a new computer.
Sure.
So anyway, so then there is a happy ending to the story, by the way, as in the computer does get fixed. But in the most strangest way. So obviously my dad does everything to try and get it fixed. He's ringing up people. But again, internet is around, but there's not really anywhere on the internet to find forums.
Not like it is now.
Yeah. So he's ringing up people, he's taking it to computer shops. No one can fix this computer. So my dad's, now I look back at the time, my dad's thinking, hang on, how can I do one work? It's going to cost a bomb to buy a new computer, which we haven't got the money for to buy a new computer. What we're going to do? So my one evening, randomly, my mum is on the phone to her boss after work, giving them sales figures, and my dad's again another night trying to fix the computer and trying to figure it out. And I think my dad,
when he was doing this, when he was fixing the computer or whatever, were you like at the other end of the house? Were you completely out of his way?
I think
or were you like, Dad, can I help? Can I do anything? Because I know which one I'd be.
I think
I'd be living at my grandma's.
I think by this time, I think my dad was fine with me by this point.
Okay.
And I think my dad must have given out some kind of groan, like, again, he's tried something, it hasn't worked.
Right.
And the person on the other end of the phone says, oh, what's that noise? And my mum says, oh, it's my husband. His computer's been, broken for weeks. He can't figure it out. This guy says, oh, look, I know a bit about computers. Maybe I can help out. And so my mum's like, oh, my boss wants to speak to you. He might be able to help you out. And my dad's a bit like, oh, yeah, of course he can help out. So he has the phone. And the main problem with my dad's computer is every time he'd turn it on, it sounded like it was coming on normally. And it'd make a massive beep noise. And then it didn't work. So this guy says, put the phone to the computer, let me hear what's going on. So he does that. And he goes, right, this is what I want you to do. So again, I'm going to try and be as lame in terms as possible when I explain this.
Please do.
old school computers, you've got your monitor and you've got your massive brick, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right? He says, take the cover off, and basically these 3 or 4 main components that you should never take out of your computer, I want you to take them out, blow on them, and put them back in. And this guy, my dad's like, what? He says, I know it sounds crazy. Just take them out, blow them and put them back in. So takes the cover off, blows them and puts them back in, turns it on, all fixed.
Well, hey!
So all this time, all computer experts and that couldn't figure it out. Some guy just says, take out the bit you shouldn't take out. And it's all fixed.
And if that had happened in this day and age, and you sent it to a computer shop, you'd probably got charged like £200-300 for that.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember that time though when I balls up that computer afterwards, being like, as a kid, you fear for your life.
Mm.
Thinking, what's going on?
How old were you, did you say?
I must have been, 10, 11, 12, around that world. But now, like you said with your story, now as an adult, you appreciate the level of what was lost with that.
I mean, you could have an argument to say that it's his own fault for not saving it onto some sort of floppy disk or USB stick or whatever there was back then.
It would have been floppy disk, but even like external hard drives weren't a thing back then, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, and it's obviously not stopped his dream.
No, he got there. I might have derailed his dream by 5 years or maybe, but he got there.
How long, once it had been fixed, can you remember how long was it until you could play Football Manager again?
I think after the initial shock, I think it was fine after that. I can't really remember. I do remember playing games on it again after it was all fixed.
Right.
I think I was just more conscious myself. If anything went wrong, I just didn't touch the computer. I just left my dad to do it. But yeah, I carried on playing more versions of Football Manager and other games like The Sims. Remember The Sims?
I do remember The Sims, but I was never a Sim kind of guy. It just didn't. I couldn't be asked for just making a family and then building a house and then building a garden and watch them drown or whatever you did.
That was the thing that everybody did. They put them in a pool and took the stairs away and just let them drown, or they set them on fire. It was just a way for people to carry out their murderous dreams.
Have you? Because when I was thinking back of what things I've done and the talents off and stuff, there's one particular thing I don't think I did anyway. There's one particular thing I think that's really bad when you think about it, but I don't think I got a massive turn off that should have been worthy of what had happened.
Yeah.
Have you, to your knowledge, there's anything that you can remember that you did, and at the end of it thinking, oh right, I was expecting more of a bollocking than that you can think of?
There probably were things, but I guess it depends on the situation as well. But I guess you've got something that you know.
Well, yeah. There was, because as I said, you just think about all the stuff that you've done, and there was something that my grandma used to look after us in the school holidays, where my mum was working and stuff. And she was a dinner lady at school, and I'm guessing for extra cash, she'd sometimes go in and help clean and do certain jobs and whatever. And we'd come along with her, and we'd have and it was pretty cool to be fair. We'd have the entire school to ourselves, so we could play in the playground, or we could play with the toys that's in reception, or whatever. It was pretty cool. Or eat the sweets that are in the canteen bit, whatever. But there was one thing I did. I went, and I don't think I got a bollock cream for it because I can't remember. But I remember going to the head teacher's office, of this primary school, and I went through the drawers and I got some scissors.
Right.
And in my head, I'm like, right, I'm going to write my brother's name on this table with these scissors. Right. But for some reason, the moment I put these scissors to the table, my mind went from Lee to Michael. And I just started scrawling Michael in this school head teacher's desk, right? And then left it. Right. And then carried on playing or whatever. And it was a while later that someone found out. And thinking back, it was probably because of the school holidays. So if it was the 6 weeks holidays, she wouldn't have seen in a couple of weeks, whatever. And I just remember being in the middle room at my old house, and my mum and my grandma walking in slowly and started the conversation of, now we know what you did at your grandma's school at Mrs. Whatever's table. And I remember thinking, why did I put Michael? Why didn't I put Lee? Why didn't I put Lee? I was going to put Lee. Why didn't I put Lee? Why have I put Michael? But then I can't remember getting bollocks for it after that. And if I got bollocks, I remembered it. I'm absolutely certain because I remember doing it, and I remember them coming into the room. And I've got a feeling. I was like, oh, is that it?
Yeah. Maybe there was something else going on in terms of they had to cover it up themselves because you weren't supposed to be there, if that makes sense. So if they admitted
maybe
it was you.
But that was it. So you start thinking like as an adult, how much shit my grandma must have got in for that.
Yeah.
Because A, should we have been there? B, I've just ruined this big table in the head teacher's office. It looked pretty old. I don't know how old it was. It could have been antique. Who knows? They would have probably had to get more money out of their school budget to get a new table, I'd have thought. Like, quite a lot of stuff would have happened because of me stupidly putting Michael in, not Lee. I mean, I don't even know why I did it in the first place. I think I did it purposely to get him in trouble, but changed it from Lee to Michael. And I'm sure, I'm 99% certain I didn't get a bollocking. It was just like a conversation.
One of my sisters had a great way of getting into trouble. Whereas if she knew that she was getting into trouble, just as the shouting perhaps would start, she'd run out to the back garden and just scream, "Don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me."
No.
And obviously, my parents did not touch a finger on any of us, but the whole concept was, if I say this, I'm not getting a bollocking. I thought it was a clever tactic.
That is a very clever tactic. But as a parent, hugely frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Don't teach it to other
I don't
kids.
think I really... No. Although, my niece, my brother's girl, when she's older.
Next time your dad's mad at you, just do this.
But add again to it. So don't hit me again. Don't hit me again. Don't hit me again. Especially in this day and age.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fair dues. I don't think I ever had anything to get out of it. As I got older, I started just kind of agreeing with my mum and accepting it. Yeah. So she'd be telling me, like, bollocking me for something. I'd be like, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I shouldn't have done it. Yeah, fair dues." And then you could just hear tone and the intensity just drops that little bit as the conversation went. It was like, right, I see if you say. See you in a bit.
Okay, then, telling offs wise, let us know what you think your best or worst telling off has ever been. It's now time for listener questions. Listener question time. It's your chance to send us your questions and we'll try and answer them as best we can. Or if you've got any opinions of questions you hear, please let us know via the usual channels. Michael, what have people been sending us for the last few days?
We've got some good questions this week.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some good questions.
So the
first one is via the
I was going to say, it's took 19 episodes. We finally get some good questions.
We've got one on the emails from John Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this has to be one of my favourite questions, not because of the question itself, but the content of the email. And you've seen it. The content of the email is just brilliant.
Okay.
So it starts off, "Hey, ADQ.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the importance of using official channels when contacting a podcast, one, straight away, brilliant. We appreciate that you actually understand the rules compared to some people.
Gold star for John.
I have chosen to email. Yes. I've chosen to email due to the seriousness of this question. Mm-hmm. In the part of the Midlands where I live and the surrounding areas, the bread items see attached. Now, this is the best bit. The see attached, he sent us 3 pictures of what he describes as a batch. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I can't really say it without what I'd say it as, but he's put words such as batch and cobs. And it's like a burger bun, I suppose. But he sent us 3 pictures of this bun, and he's taken one from the side, one from the top, and then one of it cut open. It's brilliant. So we've got the 2 slices, just in case we wanted to know exactly what he means. Okay. Full props on this dedication.
So we basically want to know what do you class a roll?
I haven't finished the email yet.
Sorry, Mike. I apologise. Please carry on.
In the part of the Midlands where I live and the surrounding areas, the bread item see attached is referred to as a batch. This is partly to do with the delicious soft bread item being baked in a batch of 6. Now, when living in Walsall, I think they were referred to as cobs, as I know this is a term also used widely across Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire. But what is the correct name for these items? Always keep up the good work, John Grant.
Very good. Okay, so I think my interpretation of this changes slightly. I would call a singular one of those without any fillings in a bread roll.
Right.
right? If you put fillings in it, like let's say put your ham in it, it's a cob for me. I know that's
Why?
strange. I don't know. But if I see that there's where I used to live, there used to be like a micro pub and they used to sell like ham or cheese versions. And I would used to say, oh yeah, I'll have a ham cob. Don't know why, but if I see it singularly without anything in, it's a bread roll. I don't
Why?
don't know why.
I mean, I don't get the cob bit.
No, I don't know
but
why.
I don't get why you why it's. And are you on your own there? Or do other people in Warsaw do the same? Or wherever you, not Warsaw, Wolverhampton, Solihull, wherever you live these days.
Solihull?
I'm just naming as many black country.
I mean,
towns as I know.
Codsall now in South Staff's the upmarket area.
Right. Oh, so right. Oh no, it's not a cod. It's a cob. Right. Okay.
A cod.
Ignore me.
Bread roll or a cob for me. That's how I'm going for. What do you go for?
Just a bread roll.
Yeah.
Like it's just whether you've got something in it or not.
I never used batch. Never used batch before.
Well, I don't understand batch
that.
because why would you call something a batch if they come in a batch of 6? You don't call an egg a carton because it's an egg carton of 6. It's an egg. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's true.
You don't call it. You call the bread a loaf of bread and then a slice of bread in between it. You don't call it, oh, just pass me a loaf of bread. Or do you want the singular or the full loaf? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What do you want? A loaf from toast? Somebody just toast you a whole loaf of bread. Here you go. What's this?
So if you ask for a batch, surely if you say, can I have a batch? They turn around and say 1 or 6. Like, I wouldn't know what they meant. If I worked at the bread shop and went, can I have a batch? I'd give them 6.
Yeah. These people, eh?
Don't get it, you crazy fools. It's a bread roll.
Okay. Cheers, John, for that one. Any other questions?
Yes. At Stu J4Z.
Good old Stu.
Possibly my favourite question ever, David.
Okay.
Do you know what's coming, surely?
I don't think I do, actually.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Right.
I'm worried.
He's asked. If you've not seen it, I would be. He's asked. And this is following last week's episode, I imagine.
Yeah.
Can Dave wrap some vanilla ice this week, please?
Oh, yes, I did see that. I don't think... All I know is from Vanilla Ice is the famous...
David, just get the lyrics up. Just get the lyrics up to Ice Baby. Come on.
Well, that's all I know is Ice Ice Baby. I don't know anything else.
Well, that's why you get the lyrics up.
And that's the only other bit I know. Okay, let me just get the old internet.
You don't know the opening bit?
Right, hang on, let me just Google
Right,
this
stop.
here.
Collaborate and listen. That bit.
Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. Here we go, lyrics. The only one I know is they're repeated. Is it the Ninja Turtles 2 movie where he's in it? And he goes, "Go Turtles, go Turtles."
Oh, is he in the... Oh, is he in the second? Oh, yeah, he's in one of them. I can't remember which one.
Isn't it the second one where he's in the club and they all have the fight with the ninjas and he's go, "Go Turtles, go Turtles, go." I'm sure that's Ice.
You do that and I'll Google.
So, Ice Ice Baby. So basically, it's probably... I can't say it naturally like I did with So Solid Crew. By the way, since that episode, I keep singing that verse in So Solid Crew. Catherine's asking me to stop. Like, can you just stop now?
It is the second Ninja Turtles film.
I'm going to try and do the whole verse of Night for Stew, just for his own movement. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new invention. So I can't know how it goes, though. Something grabs a hold of me tightly. Flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. There we go. Was that right? Is that near to the tone of what it is?
Yeah. I mean, I'd have wanted more, but I imagine our listeners would be very happy with that.
I think it very much is on brand for me.
I would suggest anybody that does watch or can watch the YouTube, watch that for that particular clip, because it's amazing how quick you go red and embarrassing while you're doing that little rap. It's beautiful.
It's another job. I've got to clip that clip now for the socials.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's Ice Ice Baby for you, Stu. Hope you enjoyed it.
Now, our third and final question today is from @RichardHobbs6,
Good old
as we mentioned earlier. Yeah. Now, this is where I'm going to read the question and I'm going to put a new feature segment of the podcast to you. See if you're interested, and then ultimately see if Richard is interested.
Okay.
Because I think we've got something here. So he's basically asked, what are your best big shop tips? I rewrite the shopping list by location in store and split it over the 2 stores I do the shop at.
Okay.
Right? And we'll get into the answer in a second.
Yeah.
But basically what I think, because he's now coming with that question, he's also coming and asked us about the mild curry MOC debate.
Yeah.
I think we should do a weekly segment where he asks us live questions on a weekly basis and we have to answer them. And for whatever we say, he has to go and do. So if there's some sort of relationship problem, he asks us. If there's a domestic household problem, he asks us. If there's a work query that he needs, he asks us. And we need to answer it because I feel like, and great questions, but he's asking us questions to help him in his life, which is great. That's what we're here for. But I think it should be a weekly thing.
Okay. Well, if Rich is listening, which you hope he is because he's submitted the questions, we'll put that back to Rich then. Does he want to start proposing lifestyle questions for him? And then he then has to act on that advice and we see what the outcome is.
Hashtag Hobbs's household questions.
Hobbs's household
hindrances.
Hindrances. Triple H.
Triple H.
Time for the questions. Yeah, we'll do that. Triple H.
Okay, right.
So hindrances. Okay, so the actual question itself.
Back to the question. Yeah. What are your best big shop tips?
I think we were looking to do this as a question in the future anyway, big shop. Because, right, this is the one thing I find bizarre. I've proposed this question to other people in the past and they say, what are you talking about? What's a big shop? And like, what do you mean? What's a big shop? Like, for example,
the big shop.
Like Christmas. You do a big shop before Christmas. Do you? Yes.
Yes.
One of the best things as a kid was going to the shops with my mom or my dad and doing the big shop because you can get away with buying extra things that you want food-wise.
You can at Christmas, yeah.
But you're going to take the calculator as well to total up what the
really?
Yeah, that's what I to do that. This is what back in the late 90s, early 90s, where you had your phones and that.
Oh, very quickly, I saw something this week on TikTok that said, you know, when we were kids and people used to talk about the 60s and you're like, oh, that's so old. That's like so old, whatever. That's ages ago. Kids nowadays, if they say the 90s, that's us saying the 60s back then.
Oh, that's horrible.
And that is awful.
That is horrible.
Like the 90s is our 60s.
Yeah. That's horrible. I don't want to get old. I don't want to get old. Big shop tips. I'm with Rich in terms of depending on what the shop is and knowing what supermarkets have certain things or will prioritise. Like Aldi's a good example. Aldi's a lot of stuff, but there's also a lot of stuff he doesn't have. So Christmas just gone. Got a lot of stuff from Aldi, but I knew there were certain things I have to go to Morrison's or Mozz's, as I like to call it.
Mozz's? Who on earth calls it Mozz's?
I think just me. But other people do. But Aldi and Mozz's. But
it's not going to catch on that.
It is. It's going to be on the new Morrison's Aldi advert. Hashtag Mozz's at the end. Up to Mozz's. Yeah, we'll see you at Mozz's. But yeah, I think big shop tip wise.
Are we saying big shop, right? What are we finding at the big shop? The one weekly shop, or is it just if you do one big monthly shop, or the Christmas shop, or the Easter shop?
I'm classing it as either the big if you do a monthly one or your big Christmas one. I would say so. I think the problem with the big shop nowadays is because most people pay on the card. They're a bit like it's psychology. They're a bit like, it's okay. I'll put that on. I'll put it on my card. I'll put my card. When you used to do it with cash, probably the big tip is to try and do it with cash because then you are restricted to the budget.
Okay, then.
Because you always have to spend within that means.
That's slightly going against one of my tips.
Okay.
Okay.
What's your tip then? What's your big shop tip?
The main tip I think is go as early as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's quiet. Get out of the way. You've got the rest of the day to go. Who cares if you have to get up at 6 o'clock? Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, in these days as well, most supermarkets, maybe not in current times, but most supermarkets are 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're not actually thinking about it, because I'm sure they'll still do it, they'll restock overnight. So everything that's gone, they'll restock as the night goes on. So if you're there in the morning, first thing, you've got your first pick of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever your list says, I would definitely go first.
Yeah.
First thing.
Okay, that's a good tip.
As I said, you've got your best pick of everything, and you get it out of the way then.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go on your Saturday, your Sunday, then you've got the rest of the weekend.
That's a good tip. My other tip,
Thank
actually, just thinking of it, would be those places that do loyalty points so we can build up and get money off.
Yeah.
Save them up and use them for the big shop at Christmas. That's what my mom.
I love a Tesco club card.
Yeah, that's what my mom always did, and that's been passed on down to me. I've got points on my Nectar card still, which I'm waiting for the right year to use it, and I'm going to get a ton off that big shop one year.
My mum at a local butcher's puts on, I don't know, maybe a £5 or whatever, every week onto this loyalty scheme at the butcher's that she goes to. So when it comes to Christmas, she's got whatever it is. Let's just, for sake of argument, say £500.
Yeah.
She's got the £500 to spend on this meat.
Jeez.
For Christmas.
That's a lot of money.
I mean, I might be exaggerating, but she puts some sort of money every week away. I don't think it'll be £1 because that's only £52 then.
At that rate, she's like Scrooge in Christmas Carol. I want the biggest turkey in the window. It's bigger than Tiny Tim.
Maybe £2 a week. That sounds like £100 at Christmas for me. That sounds about right. But my other tip, which goes against your tip, is for me, go when you're hungry. Because then you get. Because some people say, no, don't go when you're hungry.
That's going to say that's the opposite, isn't it? Like you're supposed to go when you're not hungry.
Hear me out though.
Okay.
Because if you go when you're hungry, you'll get the treats that you want, and then there's never we've not got any treats, or I should have got these biscuits, so I didn't think, or whatever. You go when you're hungry, you'll get the treats and the snacks and the chocolates and the crisps that you want, and you've got them at home. Then you don't have to worry about we've got nothing in the cupboard. Yes, you have, because you wait when you're hungry. So go first thing. Don't have any toast. Your bacon butty, just go first thing, be hungry, and then buy your treats. Because most people won't have any of the treats in the morning.
Yeah.
Most people. I exclude myself from this, but most people won't have them in the morning. So then you're not going to eat them, but you've got them for the rest of the week or the weekend at least. And you don't have to be like, should we go shop and get something? Or should we get a takeaway? I wish we had dessert. No, you've got it all there, mate. You've got it all sorted.
Okay. So, Rich, if you're listening, hopefully you are. Those are your tips for the next big shop you do. Hopefully that means there's actually one due for you, shop-wise. And please report back on what worked and what didn't work. Thank you very much.
And if you're up for #Hobbs's household hindrances,
we shall do it. Right. Any other questions for listener questions?
This is all we've got, David. This is all we've got this week.
So we need more questions, people. Michael, once again, they're going to get annoyed by it, but once they do it, they don't have to listen to this bit. How do people get in touch?
They can get in touch via our socials. We are on the Twitter. We are on the Instagram at A Daft Question. Give us a follow. Send us a DM. Ask us a question. Give us a tweet. Whatever you want. Send us an email, adaftquestion@gmail.com. We had a lot of emails these last couple of weeks, so keep them coming, guys. And we also on YouTube. Search A Daft Question and pop a little comment on the video.
Thank you very much, Mike. Right, it's time for surprise question. Surprise question, everybody. It's the part of the podcast where Michael or I, either one of us, will ask each other a completely surprise question off the cuff. Oh, don't do that cracking with the knuckles.
Oh, you're not a fan?
No. I think we discussed.
I don't think I've got any more. Have we? I've slept, David.
It's to do with air that's been released, not an.
Yes, it's nothing to do with arthritis.
No. Anyway, one of us will ask each other a completely surprise question, no planning whatsoever, no prep. And for this week, it's Michael's turn to ask moi the surprise question. Michael, what have you got this week?
David, I want to know, what do you think is the process at a post office for second-class mail? Because ultimately, I could put in a first-class letter. I could then follow that up with a second-class letter.
Yeah.
What happens to these letters at the post office that determines that the blue one that's got the one on gets delivered before the one that's also in their other hand?
Well, I think...
What do you think the process is? How does it work?
My mind would say that...
Do they just stick it in a cupboard and just deal with it when they can be asked?
I think they'll work on a... what's the word here? Can't think of the word. There's a proper word for this. But basically, when you go to the post office sometimes, you'll see they've got different bags already opened to put mail in quite conveniently. One bag is a first class, one bag is a second class. So my presumption would be at the end of the day, the first class one is given to the post office people to take to the sorting office and to begin its journey to go to its destination. The second class one is then held overnight and then given to the person the next day for it to be delivered then the next day, if that makes sense. Or are they all sent to the sorting office and then the second class ones are held somewhere and then delivered the next day? The pretty thing is, Mike, we need actual postal people to answer this question for you. Or you need one of those site visits where you go to the massive sorting offices.
We do, but I was kind of hoping you might be able to help me out. I just don't like, why have a second class system?
There's probably a really good reason why, but yeah, why not just deliver all mail at the same time?
When was the last time you put second class post?
When you have to do, Catherine's a very big fan of like thank you cards.
Yeah, to be fair, actually, yeah.
Stuff like that. So
when Ivy was born, thinking about it.
So Christmas, birthdays, whatnot, thank you cards, and to be honest, it saves a bit of money because if you buy a book of first class stamps, they cost a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that's and I wonder whether if you sent post all at the same time, would it overflow the postal system? Lucy
wondered this when she asked me what this week's secret question was.
So somebody would know this, and I could Google it, but I can't be asked because it spoils the magic of us trying to figure it out. But something I never always wanted to know, and I guess there must be a reason. You think about the amount of letters that are sent throughout the UK all at one time. Everybody's right. Most people, some people it's printed. Some people will write on the address. People have different handwriting styles. Is there really a lot of people who are constantly checking the postcodes of every single letter to make sure it goes in the right one? And how about if somebody's handwriting means a letter looks different? Do letters get sent to the completely wrong postcode because A actually is an E? A no or an O is actually an A, if you know what I mean.
I would think.
Imagine there's a giant octopus there. There's actually just reading every single one, using all its arms.
I think it's a mixture of, because I've had in the past letters that have I've got my address, but then there's been the postcode's been wrong, whether there's one or two numbers or letters that are wrong, but they've still managed to come to me. But I've also had post that have come to us with a different, like, for example, I live on Cresswell Street. I've in the past would have had Cresswell Avenue,
right?
For example,
but
with our postcode.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure what happens there. While we are on the subject of posties, I must commend our local postman.
Okay, yeah.
Because it made me realise what of a fuck up I did for the Mother's Day cards this week. We had the guy come to us on the Saturday, so the day before Mother's Day. He went, "I've got some letters here for you." I was like, "Right, okay, cool." He went, "Are you Michael Malins?" I was like, "Yeah." "Right, I've got another one here that says 27, but you're 26. Passed it to me. He went, "Is that you?" I went, "Yeah, great, thanks. See you in a bit." And I got my card. I got 2 out of the 3 Mother's Day cards that I ordered. So yeah, he came up to us and said, "Right, here you go. Are you Michael Malins?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Right, great, because there's also another letter here for you, but under a different number. Let me go get it for you." Came back and was like, "Right, here you go. Is this you?" I was like, "Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much." And it was a different number to what I live at. But the postman has obviously had a bit of announce about him. So Michael Mills at this number, Michael Mills at that number, which one's correct? And thankfully I got the correct letter.
I had, we talked about...
you can probably edit that bit out, to be fair, David.
I think it was fine. It was worth
listening back, that's not worth 5 minutes of whatever it was.
I'll just do an edit where you just laugh and it interrupts halfway to a normal conversation. So you can hear, anyway. I talked about last week with So Solid Crew, how about the today years old moments that people have. Again, I had another one of those about 2 or 3 years ago when I realised that in a street, everyone's got the same postcode. I thought everybody had a different postcode. Every single has its own individual one. I didn't realise that.
And you realised maximum 3 years ago.
3 years ago, maximum. Yeah.
Fucking hell, David.
I thought everyone had their own individual postcode. Not that like everyone in the same street would have the same postcode.
Are you taking the mick?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
While we're talking about streets,
Yeah.
you just imagine you've got one long street,
Yeah.
right? You start off number 1, right?
Yeah.
It does the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And you've got 50 at the end.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Which is the top of the street? Which is the bottom of the street?
Oh. Now you're talking.
Because I'm currently, I keep having this debate with Lucy.
Okay, so does it depend on, are you going in numerical order? Does it depend on where the location of the different entrances to the street are? If it's a cul-de-sac, do the houses at the top of the entrance?
So it's one long street and you can get to it either side. I don't think that really matters for me, but anyway.
I think it more depends then on either if you could doing it numerically or if depending where you live in that street.
Right, so we're currently in the middle. We live in the middle, right? And if you go number 1, number 2, do you go, or just go to the top of the street, or would you say just go to the bottom of the street?
I think if it's number 1 and 2, I would say go top of the street.
No!
Or if at the top of that, if at the end of that street, there is, as you come out, something more of a landmark, like even if it's just shops, for example.
Right.
I would say that's the top of the street.
That would make sense. And I would accept that.
Yeah. So why are you saying that numerically, if the higher
because
number,
it just goes from 1 to the top.
Okay. So
let's just say for 50. So it just goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 50. So you're at the bottom of the street, and you work your way up to the top.
Right. I can see where you're coming from there. Yeah. So you're looking at the higher the number, the more it is top of the street, rather than that 1, 2, 3 is like in rank orders. Like number 1's the best, if you know what I mean. Okay. I wonder what people think to that then. Interested to know. That's a really good question.
We should have saved that for a question, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Just wasted that.
We've done it though, and we're interested to hear what people think. Great question, Mike, by the way, and great follow-up question that came from it. And
Thank
also anything in terms of the postal service, if you can explain to us how it actually works. There must be a YouTube video from the Royal Mail from letter to door.
Or someone must know.
Yeah.
What the crack is.
Get your local postman on through the window next time. Get it on Zoom. While you're here, if you've got 5 minutes, can you just explain how the postal system works?
Yeah. Let me just press record. Hang on.
Right. Okay. Cheers, Michael. Right. Thank you very much. It's time for the last question of the podcast. Michael.
Can I just say, I've always wanted to say this. I love how you pull yourself away from the mic every time you say, and it's time for the next question or whatever, just so you know that you've got that tiny bit of space to edit the little jingle afterwards. So it's always, and time for the next question. Pull away, pull forward.
I've done this for many years, Mike.
Without fail. Or you could, it's time for the next question. Look away, look back.
Yeah. It's such a natural habit now. It's a natural reaction to do that. Okay. Anyway, washing up, Michael. It's something that we have to do every day. It's an annoying chore, unless you've got a dishwasher, of course, for certain aspects, which we've talked about in the show before, about how to best stack up your dishwasher. But for everything else, you have to wash up. But something that's always confused me, Mike, is the washing up bowl. My question to you is, what is the point of washing up bowl?
There isn't one.
No?
I do not see why you'd waste £1, £2, £5 on a plastic washing up bowl that you then have to wash up afterwards.
Yeah.
After you've washed up everything else and put that on the draining side. Like, just do it. You've got a sink. What's the point of putting something in the sink to act as a sink?
Yeah. You've got a massive sink there. Why do you need to now put another sink into it?
Yeah.
To fill up the water, then to empty that water out.
Yeah. And then wash up the bowl and then put the bowl on to dry with the rest of the stuff. That bit just makes no sense.
So my follow-up question to you is, do you then have a washing up bowl or not?
No.
Ah, okay. Okay.
No, we don't.
See, I do have a washing up bowl, but I'm there going, why have I got this?
But Lucy prefers the washing up style of running the tap and just leaving the tap to run. So then you can do the washing up and then rinse all the soap suds off and then put it to drain and then get the rest. And you couldn't really do that with a washing up bowl.
See, that's what I do. But the way you phrase that suggests to me that you don't do that when you wash up. You don't leave the tap running to get all the soap suds off. Is that right?
No, I do. No, leave the tap on.
What a relief.
But before we moved in together, my technique was washing up bowl or not with a sink. You fill up the bowl or sink up to an appropriate level with washing up water, washing up liquid.
Yeah.
And then you just clean and put it to the side, and then you just let the soap suds drain off.
Yeah. No.
Whereas now it's run the tap, keep the tap running, and then drain the soap suds off, so it's a lot cleaner and fresher, and then pop it on the side to dry.
Do you have any It depends what you've got left. If you've got your dishwasher, you can put all your plates and that in there, but everything else is your pots and pans and whatnot. And obviously now all the kids stuff, bottles.
The small plastic spoons and the bamboo plates that we've got that's in the shape of a bunny rabbit, but she doesn't have to wash them up. So the ears, when you run that under the tap, go everywhere and the water just splashes you. And it's hard to get that little sponge in the nooks and crannies. Oh, so yeah.
Do you have a technique in terms of filling up that bowl? Do you just whack everything in there, or do you leave stuff on the side and then fill it up in a way so it's easy to get?
I don't have a bowl, David.
Okay, the sink then, sorry. Do you just whack everything in the sink? Or
No. So it's all on the side.
Yeah.
Let the water run, and you just get one at a time and do your bit.
Okay. See,
do you put it in the sink?
I put it, yeah. So it depends how much there is. Some stuff will be on the side, but ultimately, if the bowl is empty, once something is done and it's not going in the dishwasher, it's going in the bowl, and we let the bowl stack up. And then I might have to rearrange the content so that I can get the washing up liquid in properly so it can go everywhere. Or, like you've got a pots or pans, for example. How sad is it that we've become that we're really debating this?
Right, so I'm confused. So do you have a washing up bowl?
A washing up bowl in the sink.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, and so you would fill the washing up bowl with your stuff in the washing up bowl and then just clean.
It might be it might be that we're going to reposition stuff so all the washing up liquid and the soap suds can get into everything. But also, if you've got pots and pans, or you've cooked with something like a baking tray, or like a dish, if I don't know, let's say you've made like a lasagna or something, and you put a bit of washing liquid, fill that up separately with hot water first.
Oh yeah. There's at least one, if not two, things left to soak overnight.
Yeah.
A, because it's easier. B, because I can't be asked doing it that night. It's already like 9 o'clock or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And C, I just haven't got enough room on the draining board and don't want to dry stuff to put away to then wash that thing up. I'd rather just let them dry overnight, wash the two things in the morning, they're dry in the morning, bada boom, bada bing.
So I did Google this in preparation, and I did find that there's a lot of non-British people putting in the question of why do British people use a washing up bowl? Seems to be only a British thing. So I found this one structured answer, or a couple of structured answers, as why this is a thing in Britain, right? So here we go. So one thing, this is what it says. If you have a single sink, it is useful to have a space down which one can spill, I'm going to say this word is dirt, but I can't understand what the word says, from plates without making the washing up water murky. That's one. So apparently, if you don't have a bowl, you'll make the washing up water murky. Won't it be murky anyway, regardless? If you
use a washing up bowl, you put the plug in and let the water build.
Apparently, a plastic bowl also acts as a noise insulator against the metal sink and is a less hard surface for glasses.
I can understand that, because when I'm washing up at night, Lulu's trying to get Ivy to go to sleep, so that would help, I suppose, to contain the noise in a way.
The last bit here, which I think makes the most sense, also a bowl holds less water each time, and someone's written this really poshly. Also, a bowl holds less water.
It's so hard for David to read such posh writing.
Also, a bowl holds less water each time, and so one can more easily refresh the water with a cleaner conscience, apparently.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to, if you're one of these people that keep refilling it up with fresh water, then that would make sense.
Yeah.
Are you fill it up once and then that's it, or do you do it a couple of times?
It depends how much there is. If
Right.
if I'm doing a lot and it's really getting murky, I'll empty it and start again. I've got this from a random old thing on the Guardian that this question's been asked and people are putting their answers. So people have gone into real detail. And one person here, Michael Fisher from Australia, I don't. And if you do, but don't want, I can't read. I don't. And if you do, but you don't know why you do, don't ask me.
Well, I'm glad he put his 2 pence into that then.
Yeah, easily to know whether people use washing up bowls or not, and if there is an advantage or not.
Yes. Why do you use a washing up bowl?
Yeah.
Why not just use your sink?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Or try our method and just let the water run. If you don't have to pay if you haven't got a water meter, that is, because you don't waste your money. Just let it run and then soak it off. Because we've got one of these. Oh, go on.
Waste your money on us or for the podcast.
What is helpful for us is that we've got one of these. It's a great invention, like a little handle thing with a scrubbing brush at the end. You just fill it up with washing up liquid. So the washing up liquid soaks into the sponge, and you don't have to keep bothering with the washing up liquid and stuff. So you wash it, but it's there. It's all on tap, basically. It's there ready for you to use. That's one of the advantages of having the water.
Did you get that from one of those, was it called JML adverts, when you go into a shop and it's like, look at this marvellous event you never heard about?
Tesco, David.
Oh, Tesco. Okay, fair enough. Okay,
Tesco, B&M, I think they're readily available.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a JML type thing.
If it's on Amazon, it's a thing. I'll look at it on Amazon. Okay, that's it then on that one. Thanks for letting us know. I'm thanking myself for the question.
Well done, David.
Well done. Pat on the back for me.
Pat on the back.
Thank you. And that's it for this week's podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Again, please get in touch with your answers to our questions. Please try out the different versions and please report back on the usual channels about how you got on. But for this week, it's bye from Mike.
And it's bye from David.
It's bye from me. We'll see you next time.